Is the Insta360 X5 actually any good for vlogging in real life now that we've got all of these crazy upgrades? 8K, 4K, 120, pure video mode, heavily increases the dynamic range in the dark, and all of these other things. Is it finally good enough for daily vlogging? This that I'm filming on right now is the Osmond Pocket 3, which is a classic that's been proven on the YouTube space. Can we use this, and is it any good? Well, fortunately, I'm here at an airport where everybody looks at you like a crazy person for vlogging, and we're going to do a little test and test this thing out to see how good it actually is. It's not super bright in here, so I'm going to be putting this tiny little sensor to the test. But one thing that it does have to its advantage is Insta360 now has a mic that they've direct connection to the X5. So I'm going to go on my little journey through this airport and test out all the different vlogging modes and talk to you about why I think this thing might actually be up to the task. Another question that I want to test is, can you get away with just bringing your 360 camera nowadays without having to feel like you need to bring something like the Osmond Pocket 3 or even something bigger? So let's check it out. Okay, so the cool thing about this is that technically it's like one device that can do everything, right? So unlike having to have the gimbal and have this thing follow you around or make sure it's pointed in the right direction, you can just actually just have this thing pointing in somewhere close to you and it's going to capture you. But if I flip this around, one of the cool things is this is single lens mode, super wide, so I can talk with it. But if I click this little, it will continue my audio and it will now shoot where I'm looking, and that's a huge advantage over regular action cameras. One of the things I find challenging is I like to meet people when I'm traveling, but I often find as soon as you integrate a camera into the scene, it really makes it seem somewhat disingenuous. I feel that people think that I'm only interacting with them or being nice with them because the camera is on, and I don't want that camera to get into the way of our interaction. So if I can somehow film without them noticing, even if they agree to it, that's an ideal scenario. And my uncle was one of those things. He has a crazy car collection. I wanted to film it and I wanted to have a genuine moment with him explaining his cars and different things, but I also wanted to capture it without the camera getting in the way. And that was where this thing was really cool. I was able to hold it to the side and just trust that it's going to capture everything and I can reframe it later. And with the pure video mode, the low light capabilities were vastly improved. I think the quality of the footage actually looks really good. So my question is how far does this thing need to be extended whilst you're doing some vlogging so it doesn't look super crazy and you don't look like a complete lunatic? So this is the Insta360 with one little extension out. I'll film that with my Osmond Pocket 3 so you can see I'm definitely getting looks. And trying to get this in the right place to frame me is not going to be a real problem because it's spherical. And there are different modes that allow you to adaptively reframe it. A lot of the reframing can be done in camera with their different modes. So InstaFrame, this will create a 360 shot and a selfie shot which will track you and output the 16:9 in 1080p and a 5.7K 360 shot. This should be a good way of capturing two in one. Now of course the image quality is going to be quite a bit reduced because it's going to be a 1080p image. We will see how this thing turns out. I really would not want to extend this 360 pole out too much further because then it does get really excessive. And let's see what would happen if I just actually held the camera itself and it's reframing me. So I'm holding it like a regular camera.
When in single lens mode, there's a mode called free frame mode, which takes the entire spherical image of one of the lenses and allows you to reframe it in post. So one of the great things about 360 cameras are doing motion lapses because you have unlimited reframing capability. You can also run the camera in regular mode and then speed it up in the studio software and add motion blur that way. Something that's unique about the X5 is the me mode, and normally it's used to face you, but you can actually have it facing the opposite direction, meaning you can hold the camera just in front of you and discreetly, and it will capture everything in front of the camera. This can be great if you don't want to obviously point a lens in someone's face. So overall, I think the X5 is a really versatile camera, and the image quality has vastly improved over its predecessors. But you can definitely tell when compared to the Pocket 3, the image quality still isn't quite as sharp, there's a lot more noise, the image isn't as great. But then again, the Pocket 3 also has that 1-inch sensor, and you also don't really crop in on the image. With a spherical image, of course, you are cropping in on a portion of that image, which is going to degrade the image quality slightly. But in these types of situations, I'm often willing to sacrifice a bit of image quality for convenience in shooting. I do think the X5 is vastly superior to something like the Pocket 3 when it comes to a travel scenario where it's super crowded, there's a lot going on, you have a lot to think about. It's just so much easier just to press the button and have it record everything.
So there you have it. That's a bit of an insight as to what it's like to vlog and travel with the Insta360 X5. I think the quality coming out of the 360 camera, in this case the X5, is definitely high enough. The fact that you have a microphone is really, really great. If you're going to be using some of the in-camera reframing, of course the output is then 1080p and it's not going to be as high quality, so it's worth bearing that in mind. And the way I ultimately look at this camera is it's very convenient for you on the go if you have loads of other things to do and you need to just capture the shot. So it's quicker in the moment, but it often requires a little bit of post-processing in order to get the framing that you want. However, the Insta360 Studio software and the app make it a lot easier. If you want a lower quality, then you can go for the in-camera reframing and just output in 1080p. Either way, I think this is really handy vlogging tool and traveling tool, and it's very convenient, and it for sure is going to go with me. Whether it will replace my Pocket 3, I don't know. Both are pretty small anyway. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you guys in the next one.